This blockchain has only been going up. They are generating a lot of revenue. A lot of people want to build there, and they have been growing in market share, which is why we need to talk about Hyperliquid, the blockchain to house all finance. Now, Hyperliquid is different from your usual blockchain, so that's why in this video we're going to get into what is Hyperliquid, what makes it different, why people are using it, as well as some of the airdrop opportunities, and we'll also go into the steps of getting started into their ecosystem. So if that sounds good, I'm Dan, and let's dive in. What is Hyperliquid? The blockchain to house all finance. Now, it is a blockchain that focuses on their core product, a decentralized exchange with low fees and leverage. Now, when you jump into Hyperliquid, this is what it looks like. This is very similar to a centralized exchange where you can trade different assets, where you can go long or short on different perps, while also providing different products like vaults, where you can potentially make money on other people's investments. So you could follow people much easier, but there's no guarantee you'll make money, and we'll get into that a little later in this video. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between Hyperliquid and a regular blockchain? Well, when we look at all these other blockchains, they provide the infrastructure for an application to be built, while the application is built directly into Hyperliquid, which means once you enter the Hyperliquid blockchain, you are in their app immediately. While every other blockchain, Ethereum included, you have to find a decentralized exchange that allows you to swap, and you have to build trust with them. You have to see what coins they have available, if they allow perps. So Hyperliquid just simplifies all that by providing a very good product. And if we look at the TVL, the total value locked on the Hyperliquid blockchain, it's been growing significantly. They also have applications built within their ecosystem, and we'll also get into that later in this video. Now, why are people using Hyperliquid? Because it provides a very good trading experience. Instead of just focusing on infrastructure for anyone to build anything, they wanted to focus on the trading experience. They wanted to make it really good, and they wanted to make sure anyone could access it. So that is the main reason why Hyperliquid has been so successful, as well as some of their tokenomics, their buyback system, and they've been gaining a lot of momentum, as we can see that their TVL chart has continued to grow, as well as the applications building in their ecosystem. How to make a deposit into Hyperliquid. So we're going to speed run this because I'm going to assume you already have a crypto wallet, you know how to move assets on chain, but if you don't, let me know in the comments and I'll create a more detailed video about wallets, and I'll let you know in the future. So we are using Rabby wallet, that is my EVM wallet of choice, and we could hit deposit at the top here, or if we go into portfolio, we hit deposit at the top right, and you can see by default it says deposit USDC from Arbitrum. Now, Arbitrum is a layer 2 blockchain, USDC is a stablecoin, and that is one of many options that we'll have. So more chains are coming soon, so I'm assuming many in the future, but I don't know when you're watching this video. So the first one we have here is Arbitrum. If you are on a crypto exchange and you withdraw USDC to the Arbitrum blockchain, you'd be able to deposit that directly into Hyperliquid, or if you want to use Bitcoin, you can do that directly, and it will generate a Bitcoin address for you to send your Bitcoin to. Now, deposits arrive in about 21 minutes, and there are additional costs. This would not be the deposit of choice for myself because it's slow and it's a little scary to move Bitcoin around, in all honesty. And if you choose to deposit Ethereum, you can do that. You're going to get an address where you can only deposit ETH on the Ethereum blockchain. So, you have to read these notes in detail. And then once you have Ethereum deposited into your account, you would have to trade that for USDC. Additionally, you have Solana, deposit Sol. Deposits arrive in about a minute. And important note, there is a minimum of a 0.2 Sol to deposit. Any other asset like USDC or USDT sent from Solana will be lost. So you can't deposit just anything. You have to read the details very carefully and always start with a small deposit to test it out, to get comfortable with it, so you don't lose your funds. Because this is a decentralized exchange, there is no support. If someone says they're customer support, probably not. So your funds will be lost. They have put out that warning. So any mistakes you make with a deposit is going to be painful. Like there's no recovery. It's just going to be pain. How to trade on Hyperliquid. So we are in our portfolio here. It shows our balances. And if we want to trade something, we can click on the coin name. So we have ETH, USDC, Time, which I'm not recommending, and USDC. So there are two USDCs, which means we have a balance on both the perp side and the spot side. Now, if you want to do any trading in perps or in spots, you're going to have to move your assets there. Now, the difference is spot is just you buying and holding a token, while perps gives you the power to leverage your trading. And you want to keep that separation because if you're using leverage, you might be using more than you're investing in. There's a lot more to it, but yeah, you want to keep that separation. But perps does give you more power and more risk, and you can go long or short if the price goes up or down. So different strategies, but let's do some trading. So we want to click ETH. So we have deposited Ethereum into our account, and we want to trade some ETH so we have some USDC to use in our Hyperliquid trading portfolio. So I click ETH, and you can see the little S's there. That means that's when I sold some. I'm going to sell some more ETH now so we can do some trading on Hyperliquid. We have a few options at the top right here, market, limit, or pro. Market is a market order, so we sell at whatever the order book is at. So we just kind of take whatever people are offering. Limit, we set our own price, and pro, we can do scale or a time-weighted average price. So we're just going to use a market sell, and I'm just going to sell a little bit of ETH. I'm going to place my order. This is the confirmation page. We are selling the amount and the market price. We are going to pay no gas. The order will be confirmed within a few seconds. I'm going to hit sell. Order submitted at the bottom right, and it's sold at an average of 25.76. And if we look at CoinGecko, that is a very fair price, so no problem there. We are okay with that sell, and we could always sell more, but now you can see we have a USDC balance. Now we are trading in the spot section, as you can see here, and if we go back to our portfolio, you're going to see that our spot balance has gone up while our Ethereum balance has gone down. So if we want to sell more Ethereum or buy some USDC, we just have to be familiar with what we want to do there. And if we want to get into some more in-depth trading, we can see that this is the spot section, all the coins they have available. Trending, you can see ton is trending, Hype, Solana, Pepe, DEX, nothing available there at the moment. Pre-launch, AI, DeFi, gaming, layer 1, layer 2, and meme coins. So we're in spot trading. This is probably what you're more comfortable with if you are a new investor. If you're in perps and you want to go long or short on some coins, you can do that here. So let's use anime as an example. We go to the daily chart, we see that, oh, it's not good. It's not good at all. And maybe we want to make an investment. So I'm going to scale this up. And yeah, it's easy to lose these things. So you can just click and drag and scroll up and down and zoom. So there's a lot of different ways to manipulate the chart. I'm holding the left click button and scrolling up and down around the price so we can see a scale here. Maybe if we're in the 1 hour mark, we don't see much activity there, and we want to scale that way up so we can see what's happening hour by hour, how much change is happening, and not a lot of trading activity. You know, you see the volume here. There is not a lot of volume. That's a pretty low amount, and you can just kind of tell by the bar chart there. But let's say we want to make an investment. You can choose cross or isolated. I recommend isolated. Cross is going to use more money than you have in the position. So if you're new to trading perps, isolated is always better. And it has more controls over what's happening. So let's say we want to do a small short. We're going to hit sell short. We're going to put in, we're going to see not enough margin because we don't have any assets in the perp side. So we have to scroll down. You're going to see a different view. It's going to be a lot cleaner. I have to zoom in a little bit just because we are recording here, and the button you want to use is at the lower right, perps to spot. So we're going to click that guy, going to zoom in a little bit, and you'll be moving USDC from perps to spot. But that's not what we want because we have a balance of 0. So we want to flip that guy. We click that button there. It is a button, so you have to click on the text, and then it allows you to move your balance from your spot portfolio to perps. So we can do that, hit max, confirm, you can enter any amount, sign, confirm, and now our assets are available for trading. So we can make a small trade here, we hit place order, confirmation page shows that we are shorting at 3x and we are going at the market rate. Well, it doesn't say the leverage, we have to see the page here. We're going to place this order, sell short, order submitted, and there you go. So a little S shows up, so that means we're selling at that price. So if the price goes down, we make money. If the price goes up, we're losing, which isn't great, but we're going to go with the trend here. And maybe you want to set some limits on your position, and that is easy to do. So you see positions at the bottom of the page here. We want to scroll to the right. I know it doesn't look like you can scroll, but you can scroll to the left and right. And we want to set up some either take profits or stop losses. That gives us a lot more control. So let's say we want to do a take profit stop loss for anime, which we just set. And if you're new to this, it's always nice to lock in profits. Let's say 10% gain. It sells, 10% loss. It also closes our position. So we'll hit confirm, and that's it. And you can see if you don't have a take profit or stop loss set, it's just going to show dashes there. So that is how you trade on Hyperliquid. I'm sure there is more you can do, but this is a good breakdown for you to get started immediately. Fees. How much are the fees on Hyperliquid? So if we go into our portfolio, we look at fees, taker, maker, we can see that there are different fees for perps and for spot. By default, it's going to be on perps. It's at 0.045% and 0.015%. So if you have the taker fee of 0.04 and the maker fee of 0.01. So the difference is taker is if you're just taking liquidity from the market. If that means you're doing a market order. If you're a maker, you're doing limit order. So it is going to be significantly cheaper for you to fill the order book with limit orders. And as for spot, you can see the trading fees are at 0.07% and 0.04. So that is really, really cheap. If we are using a decentralized exchange, we expect fees of 0.3%. So, like more than 4 times this price. And if we are using a centralized exchange, you can expect around 0.1%. If we're using a US exchange, we're expecting 0.5. So using Hyperliquid is pretty cheap. And this is where I show my referral link because it gets even cheaper. You'll receive 10% of the user fees, that's me, while you receive a 4% discount. Not bad. You don't have to use it, but it does support the channel. So that is why people are using Hyperliquid. It is cheaper than a centralized exchange. It is cheaper than using decentralized exchanges. It's fast and it's pretty simple. So they focus on creating a good product. Leaderboard. So this is the leaderboard. We can see the account value, PNL, ROI, and the volume for the last 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. So we can find out who's making money, who's losing money in crypto. Since everything is on chain, it's all easily trackable. And this is the good thing, because if you are saying you are a good investor, people can look into your account and see how well you're doing. So you can't really lie about this. You can't LARP about it like you can on Twitter. So all this information is publicly available. So try not to lie if you are talking about how well you're doing on Hyperliquid. For myself, I'm still very new to it. I'm still getting involved, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing on chain. And I'll only brag about it if I'm doing well. Now, in some recent event on June 11, Andrew Tate just showed his Hyperliquid trade that was 138% profitable to promote his referral link. He apparently forgot that it was a DEX, a decentralized exchange, so his wallet was quickly found and discovered he was down $600,000 in the red, and it is now a deleted post. No comments needed for me, but as you can see here, you can see the total account value, and his lifetime PNL is down $600,000 while he was showing off some small gains. So that's a good thing about a decentralized exchange. Everything is transparent and it's public knowledge. So I don't know if you should follow me or not, but I am shorting a lot of things on centralized exchanges, and I'll probably be using Hyperliquid a lot more just because of the potential airdrops and the growing ecosystem. Hyperliquid Vaults. Now this is one of the most interesting products that they have that you might want to use because you can invest in other people's trading strategies and either make money or lose money. You can see that there is $417 million locked in Hyperliquid Vaults. Now, most of that money is in the Hyperliquidity Provider Vault at 5.4% APR and a TVL of about $370 million. And below that, we have User Vault. So anyone can make a vault. So it is like a shared trading strategy saying, I'm investing in these things, I'm going long, I'm going short. And if you believe in me, you'll either make money or lose money. So we can see that a lot of different things are happening. 0x Nigiri, pretty flat, but they made a lot over time. Maybe in more recent times, your stop loss is my entry has been doing well, and you can see the different age of these portfolios. So we can see the P&L has been going up, the account values have been going up, but the TVL is $678, so maybe they are taking a lot of risk with a small amount of money. As you can see here, Solana 20x long, Injective 10x short. That is very dangerous and you could easily be liquidated. So I would not really trust these people with this much risk because you have to be an active trader to be following these things. Now, you don't only make money, you could easily lose money because if we look at the losses here, Yed to the Moon, down 99.6%, Fluid Signals 98%, Mr. Crypto down 94%, Step by Step down 93% in just the last few weeks. So just because someone has a vault doesn't guarantee you're gonna make money, but you can kind of look into the different strategies people are using to make money or lose money. You want to learn from what they're doing, see if there's a pattern, maybe follow and risk a little bit to see what kind of opportunities come out of it. So user vaults are an interesting product, but again, be sure to risk what you can afford to lose. Hyperliquid tokenomics. So we can look at the Hype token, and this will be a timestamp of what's going on in July 2025. Hyperliquid's at about $40 per token. We can see here the TVL is $500 million. Total circulating supply, 333,000 tokens with a total supply of close to 1 billion. Now, if we want to understand the tokenomics, that is pretty easy. Let's zoom in here. I'm going to enhance this for you guys. What is the token allocation for Hype? So I'm a little colorblind. A lot of these colors look the same to me. Future emissions and community rewards. You can see that's about 39%. Genesis distribution. Yes, they had a massive airdrop, and I heard they're doing a season 2 soon. So maybe you want to get started using Hyperliquid and their ecosystem. Core contributors, Hyper Foundation budget, community grants, which isn't that much. I heard that the resources are limited for builders in that ecosystem, yet they're still thriving, which says a lot. But of course, the best product a token has is the price. So we do see the price going up over time, and we might want to understand what's going on in the tokenomics. I use my buddy ChatGPT here for YouTube crypto research. You're going to say, Dan, that's lazy. No, it's super efficient. You should be using AI for your crypto research too. So let's break this down. Hype has a total supply of 100 million tokens, and they have a buyback mechanism. Approximately 97% of protocol fees are used for automated buybacks and burns of the Hype token, aligning token value with platform growth. So anytime you trade, you have to pay trading fees. 97% of those fees are being burned. So that means they buy the Hype token and then they burn that token. That token is gone from the supply, making each Hype token not burned more valuable. So this is called deflationary, and deflationary tokens always end up pretty good. But of course, there is still a lot of tokens to be allocated into the market. Not everything is unlocked yet, as we saw with the circulating supply being about 33%, while the amount of tokens burned is still pretty low. It is at less than 1%, less than 1% or less than 0.1% of tokens have been burned. So we'll have to wait and see how much transaction volume is generated, if that's enough to start bringing that total supply down a more significant amount. But generally, that is just a good thing for the ecosystem, deflationary tokenomics, and a reason for people to hold. Now we want to learn what's going on chain. So we're going to go to our friend here, DeFi Llama. We're going to look into different blockchains here, and we're going to search for Hyperliquid. So Hyperliquid is currently in 8th place with a DeFi TVL of $1.8 billion and $155 million in DEX volume. So that just says, hey, there's a lot of action there. There's a lot of money locked up. Let's see what people are doing on chain. So we're going to scroll down. We can see most people are just using the Hyperliquid platform, followed by Hyperlend, Felix, Morpho, Hyperfi, Hyperbeat, Hyperswap, and more. Now, besides using DeFi Llama, it doesn't really track all the new projects yet because they don't have any activity that is being tracked like TVL, and maybe it's still too early. But being early means you get the opportunity of an airdrop. So we're going to go to our research buddy, Grok here, and we're going to ask, what are the newest projects on Hyperliquid that people are talking about? And we search and it loads up. It's searching what people are talking about on X. So the Hyperliquid ecosystem has seen significant growth and buzz around new projects. So we have Op.Fun, a decentralized options trading platform launched last month. Kitten Swap, which I heard bad things happened. We're not going to go into that one. Neko HL, a recently listed project on HyperEVM, noted in the community dashboards. Hybra Finance, Hypersignals, Sovereign, Ranger Finance, Ferrofluid, Liquina, Hypers on HL, and then we look for community sentiment, airdrop speculation. Many projects like PvP Trade, Liquina.hl are discussed for their airdrop potential, with users actively participating in testnets and trading to earn points. And that's what we have there. Now, I'm also in the algorithm for what's happening in Hyperliquid. I've seen people talking about Lighter, Hyperunit, Felix Protocol, which is one of the top ones at the moment. Then we also have other posts. Someone's talking about Hyper OTC here. Kate XBT goes into Felix Protocol, and 0xtyson.hl. That is .hyperliquid. This is a domain name, and when you see that, you kind of know that this person is involved in the Hyperliquid ecosystem because they're supporting it with their username in social media. So if you put it into my head, give me 3 seconds to answer, it would be Felix Protocol. 2 different models sets you up for great loops. Some Asian lady told me it's plus EV. The second one would be Hyperwave, Hyperdrive. Okay, so there's Hyperdrive. So people are chatting about Hyperliquid. I'd recommend following them, and then that brings you into the Hyperliquid algorithm of social media. So with that, we had a couple people talk about some projects, and let's just jump into one of them. Let's look at Hyperlend, Felix, and maybe one more. So let's look at Hyperlend. We're gonna scroll down. We're gonna look for the website link right here. That opens up, and hyperlend.finance, the banking infrastructure built for Hyperliquid, start earning, and it opens up the app here. Gonna stall for time. We're gonna skip for now. We don't need a tour, and we'll figure things out. So we're gonna look at the markets. We want to see what are people earning. So the interest rate is okay. USDHL has a borrow rate of 10%, but the highest supply rate of 5.88%. I know, not an exciting amount. So if we go into Hyperloop, maximize yield with Hyperloop, an automated strategy that loops lending and borrowing for any asset pair. Deposit once and maximize your exposure with zero manual effort. Yes, that does make it easy, but when you do this, you kind of leverage your position a lot. And if there is any fluctuation in the price of whatever you're doing, that can cause you to be liquidated. So just understand that risk before going too crazy with this. So we can see if we add an asset and we do max leverage, we'd be able to get 6.13% APY on wrapped staked Hyperliquid with wrapped hype, and that should maintain its peg. So we saw that the interest rate was around 2.1%. We would be getting triple that with Hyperloop, which isn't that bad. So I'm gonna leave a link and I guess referral for Hyperliquid in the description. That supports the channel, and I'll probably get started with that as well. So we looked at the second biggest protocol. Let's take a look at Felix. TVL has been up only. They've been gaining a lot of traction. We're going to jump into the website, use felix.xyz, the people's stablecoin. Borrow against blue chip collateral and earn native yield with the Felix stablecoin FEUSD. As we open the app, we can see that they do have a points program, very likely an airdrop, so that might be something where we want to get started. We can take a look at the different products. If we want to borrow their stablecoin, we can deposit collateral and borrow FEUSD at an affordable interest rate. The interest rate for some of these are about 10% at the moment. That will fluctuate based on demand. Stability pools. So if we deposit hype here, we could get a supply APY of 9.9%, and those rewards would be in FEUSD and hype. Or if we deposit UBTC, it's another Bitcoin product, we would be getting about 10% on our assets there. If we look at the stats, we can see that there is $247 million of collateralized assets with 76 million borrowed. And if we look at vanilla borrowing, which just means plain, just regular borrowing, these are the interest rates they have. If we're lending, we can see we get an interest rate of 7.5% on USDE. That's probably the best one available at the moment. And if we look at USDHL, Hyperliquid USD, their stablecoin, we can see some other products. Now, we're not going to jump into everything here, but we're always interested in something with a points program because that creates opportunities for airdrops. So these might be things you want to consider, and maybe I'll do a detailed video on the most interesting or biggest potential airdrops coming to Hyperliquid in a video very soon. Just let me know in the comments. You gotta comment, engage, like that. That really helps the algorithm. That inspires me to make more content if people are actually watching this. So that is Hyperliquid in a nutshell as of right now, summer of 2025. We learned how to get started, how to trade, how some of their products work, the tokenomics, and a couple different projects that are in their ecosystem, as well as a potential upcoming airdrop, at least with maybe season 2 of Hyperliquid. maybe some of the newer protocols that haven't launched a token yet and have a points program. So lots more in the works for Hyperliquid. They have the hype. Yes, they have the hype, and that's what gets attention. So we want to be looking at these growing ecosystems, and we want to be looking for those opportunities. All right, if this video was helpful, feel free to engage with it, and feel free to join the off-brand community where we do live streams, we do chats, we play games weekly, and just kind of hang out and share alpha about what's happening in crypto. And follow me on socials for other stuff. All right, with that, I hope you got your full value for today.